Hi there, you've joined us here on the River Trent. This is the Tidal River Trent. We're here doing a 4-part series. This is the first of the series, which is obviously going to cover the summer fishing. We're hoping to cover all seasons and something a little bit special at the end to cover all aspects of barbel and chub fishing, especially on big rivers like the River Trent. The river's quite low and clear. The conditions they're not brilliant. It is fishing quite hard, but I'm hopeful we'll catch a few fish. We've had a bet with the cameraman that obviously if we can catch a 5-pound chub and a double figure barbel, that's the aim, and obviously we'll talk a little later. So now the rods are in, I thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into my barbel fishing, and especially my barbel fishing on the Trent. I've been fishing the Trent for about 5 years now. I'm not local to the Trent. I do travel. I travel about 2 hours to get down here, but obviously it's well worth me travelling. I've had some incredible fish over the last few years, including a PB, a 17.6, not last week, the week before. Obviously it's a big expanse of water. It's not fishing great at the moment, but over the next 48 hours I'm hoping we can put a few fish on the bank. A lot of people say it's a double a chuck. I wish it were, but unfortunately it's not like that all the time. But over the next 48 hours I'm hoping we can put a few fish on the bank, hopefully a double as well, but we'll see. And obviously when we catch, I'll talk you through big rigs, tactics, bait application and what bait we actually use, and obviously we'll take it from there. Well, it's been a quiet day up to now. I expected it would be, with the river being low and clear. Obviously during daylight hours I didn't expect much. We've put the rods back out. Obviously we're losing the light now, so a few change of tactics and a bit more bait. Obviously one's gone on the far side for high tide with a shorter route link, expecting a bigger barbel or a carp, and then obviously a downstream rod, we've lengthened the link, put more bait in, and hopefully we'll get a couple tonight. If we do, I'll wake the cameraman up and we'll show you what we've caught. Yeah, another cracking chub, River Trent chub. Couldn't resist a big bed of monster hemp and particle we've put out. They've started moving in now. Obviously first fish, we've had a couple of bites as well. Let's hope them barbel move in. Just put the chub back, put the rods back out. Literally 2 minutes later, it's away again. I'm not sure it's a barbel, I think it's another chub, but we'll see in a minute. The fish have just started topping. We're just about on high tide now. It's about coming up for 12 o'clock at night. Usually switches them on, but obviously the high tide and the tide dropping out. It's usually around that time, usually bite time. Hang on a bit. There we have it, the rod's been out literally 5 minutes after putting that decent chub back. Another couple of spawns of hemp and particle. Just proves the power of putting that bait out, they really do respond to it. Great fish. That's what we come down for, these beautiful barbel. Well, they're really on it now. Literally 5 minutes after I've put the barbel back, the rod's gone again, and a huge chub of 6 pounds 2 ounces. Not the biggest that the Trent holds, but still a cracking fish. More particle went at another 3-4 spoppers of hemp and mixed particle. Great fish. Good morning, quite a successful night. As I predicted, the fish came through the night, more on high tide really. Plenty of bait went in obviously, and we've seen plenty of fish rolling. High tide we had a 5 pound chub. 15 minutes after the rod went back out, a barbel, then a 6 pound 2 chub. Obviously after that, not a bite after that through the night. So already thinking about tonight, I'm pretty sure what happened last night, that the fish obviously moved in on the bait. It was quite a big bed, but I think they obviously had the fill, cleaned me out and obviously moved on. So tonight we'll put a bit more bait in, give it a bigger bed of bait and probably top up as well on top of that. Today we're having a change of tactics. We've seen a few fish on the far margin, so I've gone to lighter leads, shorter root lengths so I can get over there to see if we can get a few during the daytime. Also scaled right down to small hooks, longer root lengths, lighter root lengths, just to see if we can get you a fish during the day. As I said, we changed tactics. Seen fish on the far side feeding on a small gravel bed. So what we've done, we've changed it, smaller lead, chucked over, bit of bait over there. Within 10 minutes, the rod's hooped over and we're into a fish. Not quite sure what it is, but we have seen a few carp over there. So we'll just see. I think it's a big chub or a chub, I'm not sure. Could be a small carp because we've seen them over there, but yeah, I mean, we was looking over there. We obviously had a feeling that fish were over there. They were over there heavily last night, and this morning we've seen them back over there, over the baited area. So lighter lead, shorter root length, lead on the money, and like I say, within 10-15 minutes the rod was away again, so not quite sure what it is. Well, the daytime fish was one that I wanted. We've been watching the fish on the far side in literally 2 foot of water, feeding on particle and the boilers we put over there. It just goes to show that if you do keep your eye in the water and you see where the fish are, unlikely spot really in that shallow water, but they seem to like it, and they're still there. Quick change of tactics. It's quite a fair way over there, so I've had to lighten the lead up, shorten the ute link, ball of paste around 2 boilies, over particle, and there's your result, a lovely river Trent chub. So I'll slip this back now, and then I'll quickly go through the rigs that I've been using on this session. So I just put the fish back, and I thought I'd run you through a few rigs that I've used on this session, and which I use for most of my fishing. They do change throughout the year, obviously scaling up, scaling down, depending on the situation I'm fishing, what areas I'm fishing, whether it's snaggy. Obviously, all the rigs is the same principle. Good strong hooks, whether they're big or small. Good strong hook links, whether it be braid, whether it be nylon. And obviously the length of the ute link is a massive part depending on the situation. Obviously the river's low and clear here this weekend. Obviously during the day we've been opting for smaller baits, obviously the pellet and the maggot with very long ute links and a lighter, smaller hook and a lighter line, so to say. The other thing is obviously for the night times, what we've been doing, obviously because you're under darkness and the fish aren't as wary of rigs, vice versa, and the rigs have been shorter. Dumbbells, obviously boilies with paste wrapped round, good strong braid and a shorter root link. Now, the reason I use the yellow kickers is I fish a lot over chopped maize and rapeseed and hemp. Obviously I think that blends in a bit more with the thing, it just hides the hook a bit. Might be a personal thing, whether it works, seems to do for me, but obviously that's something that I have confidence in. So as you can see from the rigs, they're pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Obviously with the maggots, I don't rig them, I don't thread them on, I just simple maggot straight onto a size 10 zook, about 6 or 7 maggots, and it does the trick. You don't need to be rigging them because they do pick them up and they'll swallow them. The other one is obviously the pellet rig. It's just basically a ring and obviously some bait floss and 2 glued on pellets. Obviously that's ring number 2. The other one which I use for quite a lot of my fishing and most of my fishing, I don't tie a normal hair rig. Reason being, if I tie a hair rig, I've got to use the same size bait all the time, which I don't want to do. I want to change if I'm not getting bites on big baits or small baits. I can adapt between the two. And how I do that, I use a Gardner bait band with a sequin behind it, obviously on a ring. That allows me to change my hoop bait without actually changing my rig. So I can change from 2 20mm baits to 2 10mm baits and vice versa. It's a good edge and something that I've used quite a lot in the past. I've not mentioned much about swim choice, obviously, over this, because on the next one I want to go through why I pick a swim, why I would fish there, what areas to be looking for, what parts of the river you'd be fishing in that type of swim, and vice versa. Obviously we'll look at that in more depth on the next episode. So that's the rigs covered. You will see changes over the next couple of episodes about what I changed on the hook. Obviously scaling up, scaling down, different tactics. But for now, that's pretty much the rigs covered. I'm going to get these clipped back on and get the rods back out. And if we get something, I'll get the cameraman back out. So now the rods are out, I've put more bait in. Obviously there's another 20 droppers gone out there, obviously particle. I'm just going to run you through what bait I use and why I use it and how I apply it. I use 2 mixes basically. At the moment, like I said, the river's not fishing, for some reason it's not fishing as good as it normally does, but they seem to be picking up smaller particles rather than bigger particles, which I probably would normally use at this time of year. So I've adapted it so that basically there's a lot of small food items out there and basically just my hook bait, so when they do come across it, obviously they're not spooked off it. The main 2 mixes that I use obviously is the prepared oily hemp, and obviously I use that in conjunction with maggots. Basically I fish maggots over the top of it, and obviously that seems to work, and that's prepared by Monster Particle. The other mix that I use, I prepare myself. Now, there are 2 reasons for this. One, I can change the mixes obviously to suit myself, basically. And the other thing is I can add flavour to it. So by cooking it myself and buying the dry straight off Monster, I can actually add stuff to it that that I want to, basically adapt my mix. This particular mix obviously is mainly chopped maize, hemp, rapeseed and red derry. The flavours that I've added into it are turmeric. Now turmeric's great for attracting barbel. They seem to love anything to do with curry. There's also garlic in it, which again they do love. The only thing is with the garlic, the turmeric you can't overdo it. You could put as much as you want in really, but the garlic you can overdo it. So basically for that size of a bucket, if you are preparing your particle, I'd only put maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of dried garlic in it. Anything more than that, you'll probably overpower it. The other thing is the way that obviously I apply the particle to the river. Now, I see a lot of people using spoms. Now, what you get with that is when you cast obviously out a spom and it hits the water, obviously your spom opens and a lot of your particle drifts downstream, so you're not actually fishing over your baited area a lot of the time. What this is an adapted spom. They call it a spopper. Now, what it is, you can see it has a weighted bottom and a pin in it which closes it. Now, obviously, when you put the particle in it and close it up, as soon as that hits the riverbed, it automatically opens and empties where you want it to be. So you can put it on a spot and you can fish over it, confidently knowing that you're fishing over your bait and not 10 yards upstream from where you've actually put it. The other thing is, I would say, this time of year in summer, summer to late summer, you're not really accurate. You don't have to be too accurate with your baiting. You want to put a good bed of bait out, whereby you put in a big area out to keep the fish in your swim basically occupied. Things will change over the next couple of series, is where you going towards autumn and winter, where you'll see a big difference in the way that the baiting is done. For me, this time of year, it's about getting your bait down in an area and getting the fish on it. Once the fish are on it, and with all the small particles, once they start getting onto it, they don't leave until they've cleared everything up, which keeps them in your swim a lot longer. And obviously with more chance of finding your root bait, basically. So the bait's out, the rods are out. All I can do now is sit back and wait for a few fish. I don't think there'll be much action today. I might pick the odd fish up, but I think tonight maybe we'll get a few fish, and hopefully we can get the cameraman back out and show you a few fish. Yeah, so we put quite a bit of bait out earlier. Obviously we've had no takes through the day. It's been very quiet, as I thought it would be. But seeing as how all the fish came on boiler last night, what I've decided to do is put another 4 spoppers out with the same obviously turmeric mix, maize, hemp and rapeseed, but I've added a few boilers with it as well, just to keep them interested. See if that brings anything through the night, because we are getting into the evening now. Well, it's about 7:30 in the morning. It's been a very quiet night. Had a small chub about 3 o'clock in the morning. Basically just got a screaming take on downstream rod on boiler again over a big bed of hemp and maize and stuff. And I think we're into a barbel, a daytime one at that. Fought well at first, man. It's just hanging in the floor at the moment. I don't think it's a chub because it's not come up. It's actually a big chub. Well, that's a surprise where that set off. It's early hours of the morning. Put quite a bit of bait out last night. I had a small chub, probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. All quiet from there, and then obviously this absolutely screamed off. I would have said it were a barbel, but obviously it's turned out it's a big chub, probably just over £5. Absolute meltdown. What can you say? Caught over a massive bed of bait again, but we'll be here for the next few hours. Obviously, with the way it's been fishing, it's not been easy. But if not, this is a perfect sign off. Thanks for watching, and catch us on the next episode, which will be in autumn back on the Tidal Trent.